Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Manny the Magoo on Sunday, December the 13th. And I just wanted to wish everyone, hopefully they're having a great weekend. I want to put my watch list out there for this weekend and go over it with you. If you could please grab a pen and a pad, you're going to want to jot down some notes. Some of these trades look like they can really work this week, so please tune in, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment below after the video is done. Let's get right into it. The first one I'm going to go with is NIO, N-I-O. Okay, so NIO has had a decent pullback, okay? This is a weekly chart, folks, on NIO. These are weekly candles, okay? And for those of you that are new to the channel, I am a price action trader. I pay close attention to the weekly and monthly highs and lows. And once they break, I usually take the trade. And then what I do is I follow up that trade live with areas of support and possible resistance. So anyhow, right now, this is a weekly chart on NIO. This was last week's high. Last week's high is $48.30. The low is $41.26. Those are the red lines that you see here. The yellow lines that you see are the previous month's high and low. If you take a look at a monthly chart, these are monthly candles, what I always do is the previous month, which is November, I draw the high and the low of the month. And I keep it there for the remaining month, okay? The reason I do this, folks, is because monthly highs and lows are major areas of support and major areas of resistance. Just like weekly highs and lows are major areas of support and resistance. Daily charts, daily candles have highs and lows. Those are also areas of support and resistance. But as you go further down the timeline, they obviously get a little bit weaker as far as the weight is concerned. So a monthly candle holds a lot more weight than a weekly holds a lot more weight than a daily holds a lot more weight than an hourly, and so on and so forth. Okay, so but I'm a little bit more conservative. I like those weekly and monthly breaks. So right now, let me take you to a daily chart on NIO. As you can see here, there's a lot of consolidation in this area. The last time it got down here, it did go up. But as of right now, we are watching this area. We're watching closely this 41.26, which was last week's low. We're also watching the high of 48.30. Now, mind you, folks, I want to explain something to you because this is very, very important. Let's just say, for example, that NIO breaks last week's low of 41.26. Okay? Right now, the price is currently at 41.98. So, if it breaks last week's low of support, the support automatically becomes resistance. If during that day it breaks the 41.26 resistance area, you have to take the trade, or at least try it, okay? 9 out of 10 times when a stock goes back inside a weekly low or a monthly low, it tends to run, okay? Now, mind you, you can always get out if it comes back and breaks the support. So 41.26 right now is resistance. 41.26 right now is support on NIO because the price is 41.98. But if it breaks down, and then goes back up and breaks that 41.26 area, there's nothing wrong with taking the trade. You can take the trade, and you've identified then your 41.26 is support. You can always get out and wait for it to see what it does again. Okay, so I take a lot of those trades. I took a trade like that last week on Microsoft, and we absolutely killed it on Microsoft. DraftKings was another one that we took that was back inside. We killed it last week on DraftKings. Okay, so keep your eyes on that. Pay attention to it. It's important. But again, NIO is the first stock on our watch list. If it can break this area of 48.30, I am going to take the trade. If it does break down and it breaks below 41.26, I'm going to watch 41.26. If it can break it above, and I will take the trade. So those are my areas of support and resistance on NIO. Next stock on our watch list is going to be Microsoft. So here you have it, MSFT. Okay, so this was, let me go to weekly chart. As you can see, this candle here is this past previous week that closed on Friday. The low is 209.11. The high is 216.95. Okay? So right now we're at 213.26. Again, support 209.11. Resistance 216.95. If Microsoft breaks this 216.95, you got to take the trade. If Microsoft breaks down and breaks the previous week's low of 209.11, watch that area. Make sure that if it comes back up and breaks the 209.11, you should be able to take that trade. It broke an area of resistance. Okay? So right now, I mean, Microsoft's been consolidating here for weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks in this range. I mean, we're just waiting for a breakout, but again, be patient. Microsoft was a tremendous trade that we took on Friday. We did really, really, really well with it. As a matter of fact, the area it broke, it was a low of a previous week. Actually, it was 210.84. On Friday, it broke this 210.84 area, and it ran all the way to 213.26. So, I mean, like I said, those back inside weeks, those are huge, could be huge trades, okay? So, the next stock on our watch list is DraftKings, DKNG. As you can see, DraftKings, what did it do? Well, it broke to the downside. It broke the previous week's low of $48.42. And what did it do? Again, here's another example. Let's say last week you played the break when it broke 48.42, which was support. 48.42 then became resistance. If you played that stock back when it broke the 48.42 area, well, look what happened. You know, it's closed at 50.09, so you would have made a decent amount of money. Right now, DraftKings has a high of 53.44 on the previous week, a low of 45.71. Until it breaks either one of those areas or it breaks an area of support and resistance, I sit on my hands. I do not take the trade. So DraftKings is number 3 on our list. Number 4 on our list is DDOG, DDOG, DataDog. Okay, so here's DataDog. The high 103.77, the low 93.92. To be honest with you, what I like to see is I like to see actually DataDog break this 93.92 area because there's a tremendous amount of support right up in this area here, and then go back inside. If not, if DataDog breaks 103.77, I'm going to take the trade. Okay, so again, here's a daily chart on DDOG. As you can see, it's been in this range right here. So we're looking for a break of 103.77. Now, mind you, folks, very, very important you watch this, but going back to the daily chart, you will see here a red line of 103.77, and then you're going to see a yellow line. Not only is that a break of the weekly high, previous week, it's also going to break the previous month's high. Here's a monthly chart on DDOG. Right there. That's the previous month, the 103.95. So if you play the 103.77, realize that 103.95 is going to be resistance. So So obviously there's not a lot of meat and potatoes in that move. But if it breaks 103.95 and breaks 103.77, DDOG can be off to the races. Okay, so keep an eye on DDOG. That's DDOG. That's the fourth stock on our list. The next is Apple, AAPL. Let me show you. Here is a weekly chart on Apple. Okay, you've got the previous month of 121.99. You've got a low on the week of 120.19, and you also have a high on the week of 125.95. Folks, I would draw these lines if I were you, these horizontal lines. They help a lot, okay? What I do is I go to a weekly candle chart. All these candles here are weeklies, and I always go back to the previous week. So that's the 12/7 week. It closed out on this past Friday. I draw a high, and I draw a low of the weekly candle. Then I go to a monthly chart. I draw a high, and I draw a low of the previous month, which was November. Okay? So, you want to keep an eye on that area. And Apple is a stock that we are looking at right now. It could break 121.99, which was last month's high. So you want to keep a look at this area. Just remember, again, I'm going to reiterate this, and I sound like an idiot when I say it, but every time price action breaks a monthly high or low, if it breaks it and comes back down inside, that high or that low becomes resistance. If it goes back up, you want to take the trade because you've identified the line of resistance and you've identified the line of support. Okay? So, another example. Let's just say Apple breaks 121.99. Let's just say Apple breaks 120.19, which was last week's low. Well, obviously 120.19 will be resistance. If it could come back inside and break this 120.19, you have to take the trade. Okay? That's very, very important. Because now you've identified what your resistance was, which was 120.19, and if it breaks it, you've identified that 120.19 becomes support. If it comes back and breaks 120.19, you can always get out. Doesn't cost you much money, and that's what's going to make you successful in this business. It's not hoping that it's going to go up. It's not getting out when you shouldn't get out. Once you've identified your support and resistance, anytime you make a play, anytime you make a trade, it's supposed to go in the direction that you want it to. If it does not, and it pulls back, you get out. It's that simple. If you can do that time over and over again, you could make this a living if you really like to trade. I love to trade, and I knew, and by all means, folks, learn from all my mistakes because I've probably made every mistake in the book. When it comes to trading, you have the 99% of this business comes down to psychology, and it's a matter of getting out when you should. Okay? It's not hoping, it's not praying. Once it breaks an area that it breaks, that you don't want it to break, you gotta get out. You gotta preserve your capital. Okay? That's very, very important. Okay? Now, the next stock on our list is Big, B-I-G, Big Lots. Okay, as you can see, Big Lots here, this is a daily chart. It is coming to an area of massive, massive support. 44.84 is a massive area of support, as you can see with this massive candle on November the 9th. But what did I do? I went to the weekly chart. Here's my low, 44.92. My high is 47.78. Also, I've got the monthly low of 44.84 right beneath it. So if you take a look, here you have it. 44.84 is also, so you have monthly and weekly support. That's massive. Now, if it breaks that, you have to take a look to see if it can climb back inside that area. If it breaks that area, 44.84, you want to try to take the trade, knowing that 44.84 now becomes support. Okay? So that's what I'm looking at on big. And last but not least on our list today is eBay. As you can see, eBay right now, it tried going up. It found resistance at 51.93, which if you look to the left, look over here, folks. Look. There you have it. 6.4. 51.88. Folks, when you get in a trade, what you have to do, once you're in the trade, it's just not forgetting about it. You have to start looking to the left in order to dictate the move to the right. History always repeats itself in the stock market. History always repeats itself when it comes to stocks. Okay? So now in my live room, once we get in a trade, I usually coach the people through the trade and I identify the areas of the next resistance, so we're always, watching. But at the same time, this is something that you truly have to learn. This is very, very, very important. Without this, you cannot be a successful trader. So let's just say over here you were in. Back on 11.19, 11.20, 11.21, 11.24, the stock's going up. You have to realize that number one, you're going to have resistance here. That's the first area, 11.6 candle, 51.17. And if it breaks that, 51.17, what does it become? Support, right? Okay, so once 51.17 becomes support, you got to look for the next area. What's the next area? Right here, this failure candle, 51.88. So I'm looking at eBay. I'd like to see it break 51.01. We still have a little bit of room to get there. But I'm also looking at the weekly low of 48.67, and we're closer to the weekly low as opposed to the weekly high. So if it does break this 48.67, I'm going to have to wait and see if it can go back up and break 41.67. If it breaks 41.67, it went back in, 48.67, it goes back inside. So I'm going to have to take the trade. Okay, I love those trades. I really love those weekly breaks and then back inside. But if you were to take a look at this chart, okay, I'm going to show you one quick thing. So let's just say eBay breaks 48.67. What would you say the next area of support would be? Well, it could be this candle, but before it gets down there, you've got 1, 2, 3 candles of support. 4. Okay? So, what is this low? 46.85. What's the low here? 46.99. What's the low here? 47.44. What's the low here? 46.64. So I'd say 46.64 is really the base before it starts working again. Okay, so those are areas of support and resistance that I see. And in trading, especially this day and age, you have to be a tactical trader. And the beautiful part about price action is that it's not a lagging indicator. Okay, it's not a moving average that takes a certain amount of days in order to get there. It's not a MACD. It's not an RSI. It's not a stochastics. Okay, I'm not saying that these aren't great indicators because millions of people out there use them. But at the same time, I'm a price action trader. I keep it simple, and I know where my areas of support are, and I know where my areas of resistance are, and I've been playing them, and I've been playing this way before Thinkorswim or any other company out there that had a trading platform that's much easier now than it ever was before. Before, we used to get a graph paper. Literally, we used to write the high, we used to write the low, we used to write the open, and we used to write the close of each and every day. And then we would chart it. Okay, so it was a lot more difficult then than it is now. Now, this, to be honest with you, is very easy. If you complicate trading, it's all up in your mind. That's the bottom line. Okay, so again, patience. You don't have to trade every day. You can trade once a week and make a huge score. Okay, so patience is the key to this business. If these areas that I showed you do not break, I don't get in. That's just the bottom line. Okay, so again, folks, that's my Sunday watch list. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. I do post videos occasionally during the week as well on some of the trades that we did take based on the watch list. And, I hope everyone enjoys their end to the Sunday and looks forward to Monday, as I do, at 6 p.m. tonight. The futures will be open. I'm looking forward to see where they're at. There's a lot of noise in the market. So let's just see what happens. But at the same time, like I said, always stay tactical and always be defensive. All right, folks, this is Manny Magoo. Happy Sunday. Enjoy the rest of the day. Goodbye.